Hello? Hello? I'm back today with another declutter video. Today we're going to be decluttering my eyeshadow palettes. I would love to get all of my declutters out of the way so that I can move on to reorganizing my entire makeup collection, but I feel like I've been dragging these declutters on for like 2 years now. So if you guys enjoy these types of videos, please give this one a thumbs up. I will link a playlist of all of my previous declutters somewhere on the screen. I still have to go through individual eyeshadows, bronzers, powders, concealers, pigments, eyeliners, and lip liners, I guess. I could probably do those together. Same with mascara. Let me know if you guys enjoy these. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and staying subscribed. And let's get into it. Alrighty, so here are all of my eyeshadow palettes. These are just palettes, not including my individual eyeshadows that we also need to go through. I think I'm gonna divide these up by brand. I feel like that's gonna be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to set my camera up. I'm gonna lay them out on my rug like I do in all of my other declutters. I need to grab some makeup wipes because I'm probably going to swatch a bunch of these, not only for your viewing pleasure, but to help myself out to figure out what I want to keep and what I got to get rid of. So enjoy this little organizational montage. I'm gonna start off nice and easy with this Stila palette. I don't even know if I can call this a palette. It's just 4 individual eyeshadows put into a Stila 8 pan. I have had this as long as I've been a makeup artist. I got this in makeup school. I'm pretty sure it was a gift from Stila for all of the students. I've been holding on to it because I'm sentimental, but it is not sanitary nor is it sane. I haven't touched this in years. Goodbye. Thank you for the memories. When I worked in retail, I used to absolutely love Smashbox. Sadly, I'm probably gonna get rid of all 3 of these. This was a very beautiful eyeshadow palette that I purchased many Christmases ago. It was loved. It is old. I hate how matte coated palettes like this get super sticky when you wipe them with like a makeup wipe or a wet wipe. I have to do that constantly when I'm freelancing. Anyway, I'm gonna throw this out. I believe this one here was also from a Christmas set. I'm gonna throw it out. It's super old. This is hella old too. It's like a eyeshadow, blush, lip color palette all in one. Eyeshadows, blushes, bronzer, highlighter. In here are a bunch of lip colors, some cream eyeshadows, eyebrow powders, eyebrow gels. I didn't really use this very much. Ordered it, and when it arrived, I just wasn't enthusiastic about how it performed. It kind of looks like a kid's palette. So anyway, I'm gonna throw this out. Onto the only Morphe eyeshadow palette that I own. I got this at IMATS. This is the 35W palette. You can tell how old this is by the logo on the front. This was before Morphe was so heavily advertised on YouTube and Instagram and social media. The eyeshadows perform okay. It's nothing to write home about. What I might do is just extract the eyeshadows that I enjoy, like this one here. This one's super pretty. Put them in a separate palette and then toss the rest. I'm not gonna throw this out just yet, but about 70% of these are gonna go in the bin eventually. I feel pretty guilty about this next product. This is a Ben Nye pressed color palette. It has a row of matte eyeshadows and a row of matte blushes. Did I ever get around to actually putting it in my professional makeup kit? The answer is no. I'm almost certain that this palette has expired, but I think there's a good reason why I didn't throw it in my kit. It's been years, so my memories are kind of melting together at this point. I'm an old bird, okay? But I'm pretty sure I tried this row of eyeshadows on myself. They didn't really blend into one another like butter, like you would expect of a Ben Nye product. So then I didn't end up putting them in my kit because I like to keep products in my kit that make my life easier, not harder. you know? I really should throw it out. I'm sure I have blushes just like this in my collection. This monstrosity here is wrapped up with paper towel because it was the same matte coating as that Smashbox palette I showed you a little bit ago. And when I wiped it down with a wet wipe, it got really sticky. The black sticky material on it transfers onto the skin. It's just really annoying having to constantly wash my hands when I'm handling this, but this is where I keep all of my Makeup Forever single eyeshadows. These are so old. Oh my god, I gotta throw this whole thing out. I've had this since I was a makeup student. This palette has served its purpose. It's slowly killing itself, so I know that it wants out of my collection. So I'm gonna throw this whole thing out. Do you guys remember when shophush.com was all the rage and I went on there like a dumbass and bought 8 palettes, and then they completely disappeared into thin air, never to be heard of again? Well, this is what I'm left with right here. Does anybody know what the hell happened to shophush.com? I'm very curious. They had a lot of drugstore makeup on there. They had some little brands that would dupe higher end products, such as Bad Habit. I wonder, did they disappear too? A dupe of Subculture. I never got around to purchasing Subculture because I'd heard so many terrible reviews about it. This actually was pretty shitty too, but there are some shades in here that I do like on their own. It's just very hit or miss. This one I really liked. This actually was really nice too. These mustard colors are nice. What I'm gonna do is remove the ones that I like. The Athena palette was a dupe for, I'm gonna put the name up on the screen. This actually was pretty good. I really like these. They're kind of like a duochrome. These shadows actually did blend into one another okay. There was a little bit of an issue with these reds, and this purple is not pigmented at all, but the shimmers are really pretty, and that glittery one is really nice too. So I'm gonna keep this. These were supposed to dupe Huda Beauty's, I don't know what they're called, I'll put them up on the screen, and I ended up getting all of them. Considering that these are dupe palettes, the componentry is actually really nice, the packaging is really nice, the design on the packaging is really nice. If I'm using 1 or 2 shadows on their own, I can make it work, but if I want like a full look with any of these palettes, I have issues. Specifically this one here, After Hours, was a huge failure for me. I did really like Aftershock, After Dark, After Charge is really nice. These are all duochrome or metallics. They're really, really pretty. I didn't really have any problems with these. This one's really pretty, oh my god. So I'm gonna keep all of these. I'm gonna revisit them, play around with them, try to get to the bottom of what the hell happened to this brand. I would love to get back to using my eyeshadow palettes on camera. As I was laying out all of these palettes, I remembered how much I love filming eyeshadow looks. So let me know in the comments if you guys see some older palettes that you also have in your collection that you would like me to revisit and create looks with, because a lot of these I own and I use, but I've never done videos on. I'm actually gonna go on Instagram real quick and see if Bad Habit still has an Instagram page, BRB. Yeah, it looks like they haven't posted since March of 2019. Okay, I was going through their comment section and I noticed somebody said, oh, if you guys are wondering where Bad Habit went, they are now Alter Ego. Check out the products, and their products look just like Bad Habit products. They're all dupes and things of that nature. Like they used to dupe Natasha Denona eyeshadows as well. Where are all the little mini palettes though? This has to be Bad Habit. Anyway, let me know if you guys have any intel in the comments. I love talking about this kind of stuff with other people. You'll start to notice a pattern with me. I tend to hold on to packaging. I don't know why I keep my eyeshadow palette boxes, but I do, and I cannot stop. It's not with all of them, but most of them. We've got my Suva Beauty eyeshadow palette here. These are individuals just put into an eyeshadow palette. They're quite large and in charge. This is a local brand. They're from Vancouver. They're cruelty-free. Did I already say that their pans are huge? They are. I'm not too crazy about the metallics because I find that they require a lot of building up. They're not as creamy, but the mattes are really nice. They're highly pigmented. They blend really well into one another. And I don't feel like I've ever used these eyeshadows on my channel. So for that reason, I'm gonna keep them for now. When you dip your finger into the metallics, you can definitely tell how hard they are. That's what she said. But the colors there, I just find it takes a bit of work to build them up on the eyelid, so I really prefer the mattes. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this. I was doing really well getting rid of stuff, and now I'm keeping a lot of shit. Really hoping this declutter gets better, because I don't have a lot of room. 2 Pixie eyeshadow palettes. This one here is called Reflex Light, and this one is Natural Beauty. Natural Beauty is more cool toned, right up my alley. I used to be a very cool toned kind of gal before YouTube, and then I don't know, somehow because of YouTube, I started liking warm tones a little bit more, and then I kind of started neglecting my true self, which is a cool toned gal. So I'm gonna keep this one. I haven't played with it a whole lot, and I think the reason for this is because it's been in the closet of doom, out of sight. I really, really like this shade for every day. I think it's super pretty. Let me just do a little swatcheroo. I've worn this one on its own, and it's really, really nice. This one's kind of cool. It's like a matte, but it has like a sequins sort of look to it. See that little bit of shimmer? I think it's so pretty. So anyway, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put it somewhere where I can see it so I can actually use it. And then, what did I say this is called? Reflect Light. This one is all metallic shades. So I have found this a little bit difficult to work with when I want to get a full look out of just this one palette. I tend to gravitate towards this one. It's probably my favorite shade in the entire palette. I don't really like this gold. This pinky one is meh. I'm not too jazzed about this one either. I'm gonna give it another try and then see which ones stand out to me and maybe depot them. This palette has lived to see another day. We've got the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette and the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes, and they are both in their packaging because I have problems. This is a great palette. It brings back wonderful memories. I don't really know why I stopped using this. Probably because I continued to buy other eyeshadow palettes because YouTube told me to. And then I forgot how much I love this. So we're gonna keep this for now. I was really excited about Just Peachy Mattes, and when I finally received it, I wasn't as enthused because I felt the eyeshadows looked a lot more vibrant online, and I was a little let down seeing it in person, but it's still really good. I just find that some of these take a lot of building up. They're not as pigmented as I'd like, but it is a good everyday palette. I love matte shadows. I like that they smell like peaches. I'm gonna keep it. Onto my Anastasia palettes. I'm gonna move these Urban Decay ones out of the way so we can talk about these. They are both in their original packaging. Surprise, surprise. I only have 2 of them. I've managed to stop myself from purchasing her eyeshadow palettes. I have eyed so many of them and I've talked myself out of them. I'm still really wanting the Soft Glam and the Carly Bible collaboration palette. I think I'm gonna cave and get Soft Glam. It just looks like a perfect eyeshadow palette. I also really like the look of the Carly Bible one, but I've kind of seen mixed reviews about the formula. Have any of you used that one, and would you recommend me getting it? Or should I just not? I am doing a declutter, so why the hell am I talking about what palettes I want? But I thought I'd be honest, okay? Let's focus on what we got in front of us. We got the Modern Renaissance and the Master Palette by Mario. I purchased Modern Renaissance when it first came out. I had filmed videos with it, and my videos were completely out of focus, so I never ended up posting them. Anyway, this is a great palette. It is a cult favorite. I'm gonna keep it. I will eventually try to film looks with this because I'd love to use palettes that I own and create looks with them. Like I said earlier, if you guys would want to see that, let me know. Master Palette by Mario. I just really like him as a human and as a makeup artist. I don't know him personally, obviously, but he just gives me good soul vibes, you know? So I try to support if I can. This eyeshadow palette is really pretty. There are some shades in here that I'm just not super crazy about. Claudia, haven't really used much of it, to be honest. Bronx, haven't used a lot of. I love the mattes. I love these brown shades up here. I like Kim and Muse probably the most out of them. Fifth Avenue and Hollywood are a little bit redundant to me. That's that on that. Before I put this away, I'm just gonna set it aside real quick because I also purchased Mario's collaboration with KKW. Didn't purchase the first round because it just didn't really speak to me. The second go around, I was intrigued by the entire collection, like the lip gloss and the lipstick and the lip liner. I had never purchased anything from KKW until I purchased this collaboration. There's no real reason why. I'm not one of those people that's like completely anti-Kardashian Jenner. I don't really care. I don't follow a lot of that. The reason why I never really purchased from KKW is because it just didn't intrigue me, and I feel like the makeup market is oversaturated. But when I saw Mario's second collaboration and I watched his videos on how he described everything, I was like, take my money. But I was on the fence about it because this eyeshadow palette looks very similar to his collaboration with Anastasia. I wasn't going to purchase the eyeshadow palette at first. I did side-by-sides, listed the shadows that I feel like he repeated from the Anastasia palette. There are similarities. So I thought that Don't Move looks very similar to Lula. So I'm gonna swatch those side by side. Don't Move is on the left, Lula is on the right. Lula's clearly more cool toned. Don't Move has more of like a yellow undertone, so they're definitely not alike. I was wrong about that. And we have Glam King and Isabel. I thought that these would be very similar. And you know what? They're not that far off. Isabel is on the left and Glam King is on the right. Isabel is way more pigmented, a little bit more orangey. Glam King is a bit more pinky, I guess, but similar. Next up, I'm Inspired in the KKW palette, and Violetta. I'm Inspired is on the left. It looks like a deep chocolate brown. Violetta is more of like a milk chocolate. Similar. I thought Mario's Muse and Muse in the Anastasia palette were gonna be identical. Mario's Muse is on the left. It's more of a red copper, and Muse is on the right, and it's more of like a brownie copper shade, so not the same shade. I was wrong about that. I thought that I Need More Light and Fifth Avenue or Hollywood might be similar. I Need More Light is on the far left. It's kind of like a smoky, dark gold shade. Fifth Avenue is in the middle. Hollywood is on the right. They're nothing alike. I was wrong. I also thought there was a similarity between Kim and NYC to LA, or Marina and NYC to LA, or Marina and a beauty campaign. Up top, I've swatched Kim on the left and Marina on the right, and on the bottom I have NYC to LA and a beauty campaign. A beauty campaign and Marina are different, but I do see a similarity between Kim and NYC to LA, so pretty similar. Last but not least, we have the Artist from the KKW palette and Claudia from the Anastasia palette. And these are a little bit similar, kind of like that gunmetal gray blue. The KKW one has way more shimmer. Anastasia one is more metallic, but same kind of idea. So I think because he's a makeup artist, he just likes to use certain shades for certain things. Inevitably created two palettes with similar shades. Not identical, but similar. So I wasn't completely wrong, but I wasn't 100% on the money like I thought I was. There's no shade for So Many Paparazzi in the Anastasia one. Look Up is also very unique to this palette. I don't know, interesting little experiment, but I'm gonna keep them both. I think that the mattes in this palette are wonderful. I really like them. They blend seamlessly. I was actually really impressed because I truly didn't have high hopes for KKW's eyeshadows. I don't know why. I'm not being an asshole, I just didn't, but I was pleasantly surprised. The metallics and like the shimmery shades, they're best applied with the finger. I've tried using different brushes and I just don't get the same payoff on the eyelid as I do with my fingertips, but the mattes are just, they're a dream. Oh baby, it is throwback time. We're on to the Urban Decay Naked palettes. This bad boy right here was my go-to back in the day. I would throw gunmetal all over my lid, some of this Virgin on my brow bone, and be on my merry way. No transition, no nothing, okay? Just gunmetal, Virgin, out the door. Trying to go for that I'm a slave for you Britney Spears look. This is actually my second naked palette because I shattered the shit out of my first one. Pretty much every shade in this palette is great in my opinion. I am gonna keep this for the memories. Next up we have the Naked 2. I wasn't as crazy about the Naked 2 as I was the first naked palette. I did appreciate the fact that they had a matte black. I did like this shade here. I felt like this was a shade that the first naked palette was missing. In my opinion, nothing compares to the first naked palette. I'm gonna keep the second naked as well for memories because it brings me back. I didn't get around to purchasing Naked 3. It didn't really speak to me. It looked more like a bridal palette and I just, yeah, it didn't do anything for me. Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is fairly new to my collection. I purchased it off of the Sephora website when Sephora had a sale on it. I think it was like 50% off. I had been eyeing this for a long time, so I felt like that was my sign. It is very heavy compared to any palette that I own. It's got a giant ass mirror, which is great. The eyeshadows are just like all other Urban Decay eyeshadows. Very good quality. The mattes blend out like a dream. The metallics are really pigmented and buttery. I don't have any complaints about the way that this palette performs. Really love this green shade here. I think green eyeshadow with blue eyes, just chef's kiss. Just a great eyeshadow palette, so I am gonna keep this. On to the Urban Decay Game of Thrones collaboration. If you guys are new to my channel, I am a huge Game of Thrones nerd. Let's not talk about the last season. That was an absolute abomination. I would like a redo. I found out that Urban Decay was doing a Game of Thrones collab. I was a little bit nervous because I feel like as a fan, I had very high expectations. I was a little bit excited because the show was ending. I could purchase something as like a memory of the show. show, so I don't know, I had mixed feelings about it. Once I saw the photos of everything released, I was very underwhelmed and I was not going to purchase it. And then it was sent to me. So had it not been sent to me, I probably wouldn't have purchased it, and I'll explain why in a bit. Pretty sure this is being sold at half the price on Nordstrom right now, and I'm pretty sure I saw it on the Urban Decay website for like 50% off. I don't think it did very well. So you open it up, it's got a huge mirror. It's got this little diorama of the Iron Throne, which is super cool if you're a diehard fan and you like to purchase collector's items. This is a total collector's item. For practicality, not so much. It's a giant palette. If you're a diehard fan, this is something cool to have in your collection until the end of time, you know? So I get it. And then you slide this part out and you have the eyeshadows. Each story is divided by house. We've got the North, House Stark, House Lannister, and House Targaryen. The eyeshadows themselves, of course, perform beautifully because it's Urban Decay, highly pigmented, super buttery, blend like a dream. I'm just not very impressed with the shade selection for each house, to be honest. Some of them don't make a lot of sense. They could have done so much more. House Targaryen in particular just does not make sense to me. I would have done something completely different. If this palette wasn't revolved around Game of Thrones, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I think it's gorgeous. It just, in my mind as a fan, does not make sense. I didn't talk about it because it was sent to me super late. Either there wasn't a lot of excitement around this collection or people got over it really quickly. All of that to say this, I am keeping it. I thought we could just do a quick little side-by-side of the Game of Thrones and Born to Run palettes. Always felt like there were similarities. House of Targaryen looks very similar to Stranded. Lannister Red looks kind of similar to Punk. Punk is a bit deeper. Casterly Rock kind of looks like Smog, doesn't it? House Lannister and Still Shot are pretty different. This one's way more coral. Red Keep and Ignite. Dude, these are almost identical. Radio and Frozen North. Frozen North has way more shimmer to it. It's got more like sparkle and it's more vibrant. Yeah, these are pretty similar to Guilt Trip and Weirwood Leaves. This 120 color BH Cosmetics palette is near and dear to my heart. It is one of the first palettes I purchased from BH Cosmetics and used on my channel. I started out doing very colorful makeup looks, very bittersweet because I know it's old and I'm gonna let it go. Thank you for your service, 120 color palette. This is their Club Tropicana 28 color foil eyeshadow palette. I don't think I've used this one very much. There are some shades in here that look a little bit redundant, but I think I'm gonna keep it for now just because I haven't played around with it enough. I recently, and by recently I mean in the last 6 months, placed a BH Cosmetics order and I picked up this 42 Ultimate Matte color eyeshadow palette, as well as Color Festival. This is a 20 color palette, as well as the It's My Ray collaboration. Ray is a fellow YouTuber. I really love her. Let's first take a look at this matte eyeshadow palette. I was excited when I saw it on their website because there are a lot of shades in here that look gorgeous. I'm glad that I picked it up, but I haven't even used it on my channel. I've used it on myself off camera, but I haven't done any looks with it. So I look forward to creating some looks with this in 2020. This is their Color Festival eyeshadow palette. First of all, the packaging, it's gorgeous. The shades are absolutely stunning. It looks a little bit overwhelming at first, but if you block out some of the bright shades, you'll see that you can actually create everyday looks with this palette as well. And you can also have fun with it and incorporate some of the neons, the duochrome shades. I like Disco, EDM, Banger, Hollow, the far left shade in the top row. Just absolutely stunning. BH Cosmetics is just getting better and better every year. Anyway, I absolutely love this palette. I'm gonna keep it. This is the It's My Ray collaboration. Got a little mirror, which is great. I was actually surprised at how small this palette was. I think it's really smart to have a row of mattes and then have a row of metallics that match with each matte shade. That was a mouthful. And then she's got a row of neutral shades up here. You can create an everyday look with this. You can go crazy and create a colorful look. So I will be keeping this. I've got 2 more palettes from BH Cosmetics. This one is the Carly Bible collaboration from a few years back. I think I'm gonna toss this because it's super old and I just don't see myself using it again. The Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I don't feel too bad about throwing out that 120 color palette by BH because because I now have this one if I ever want to do a colorful look. I'm gonna keep this. I have this super old little Benefit eyeshadow and lip color duo palette. The mirror on it is smashed. It has 3 eyeshadows and 3 lip colors. This was a cute little palette. I am gonna throw it out because it's super old. Next up is this Sigma Creme de Couture macaron inspired eyeshadow palette. I think it's so cute. I know that I should probably throw it out. Part of me just can't let go of it because I love the packaging and I find the shade selection really inspiring. So I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile for now. I've got some LORAC palettes. I'm gonna start out with this LORAC Pro To Go. These eyeshadows are so nice. I've got the LORAC Pro 1 and Pro 2 palettes. These, in my opinion, are awesome. I've obviously loved on the first one way more than the second one. The second one is more cool toned. The first one I used a lot more in my professional makeup kit. I do see myself using these again, so I'm gonna keep them both. This is the first LORAC Mega Pro palette. When they first released this, it was so hard to get your paws on it because they had created a limited quantity, which at the time was unheard of. It was super annoying. I ended up having to purchase it off of Amazon from the LORAC store. I was so excited to receive it because it has this beautiful big mirror, a ton of beautiful eyeshadows, and it was the most disappointing eyeshadow palette ever. These blend into nothingness. They hardly show up on the lid. By the time the brush even makes contact with your eye, it's already fluffed off. Even these dark shades here, total duds. I was so excited for Orchid and Lilac and Wisteria and this beautiful dusty rose shade. This would have been just a beautiful bridesmaid look. I know that some people dislike the LORAC eyeshadows altogether. They think the Pro 1 and 2 also blend into nothingness. I disagree. I think those ones are great. These are just like non-existent shadows. After I purchased this first Mega Pro palette, I didn't continue to purchase future Mega Pros. I've just passed them up because I don't want to be let down again. Long story short, I'm gonna finally throw this out. I basically just want it out of my collection so I can forget about the disappointment that I felt. Got a couple Kat Von D eyeshadow palettes. I'm not even gonna get into the fuckery of Kat Von D right now. That's not what this video is about. This here is the Ladybird palette. I created a look with this when I first started my channel. These eyeshadows were great, but this is very old. I don't see myself reaching for this again, so I'm gonna throw this out. Next up is the Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette. These are all matte shades. I wanted to really love this because it's well thought out. It makes a lot of sense for an everyday palette, but I just don't see myself reaching for it anymore. So for that reason, I'm gonna toss it. This is the original Tartelette palette by Tarte. It is an all matte palette. I find these eyeshadows a bit difficult to build up, but it's still a good palette for every day. It's good for bridal. I'm gonna keep it. And then we've got the Tarte in the Bloom palette. I was on the fence about this. I didn't know if I wanted it, if I didn't want it. I'm glad that I did get it. It is a beautiful palette. These two shimmers I find a little bit hard. Really have to build them up with your finger. Whereas this one here, you can apply with a brush or your finger. It's very buttery soft. It is different from these two. It smells really nice and I'm gonna keep it. Onto my smaller items. I do think these still count as eyeshadow palettes. So I'm gonna start in the top left-hand corner. This is a fresh eyeshadow palette. It's a little eyeshadow trio that I'm definitely gonna toss because it is ancient. Marcel eyeshadow palette. I purchased this because I was excited to see an all matte eyeshadow palette from the drugstore. I have similar shades in my collection already and I haven't reached for this. I'm gonna toss it. These are my two Lise Watier eyeshadow quads. This one's actually very pretty. It's hella old, so I'm gonna throw this out. Another Lise Watier quad. Can't tell you that I've ever used this. I think I got this as gratis when I worked in retail at Shoppers Drug Mart. I'm gonna throw this out. This is a Catrice eyeshadow palette. I might pass this on to my sister-in-law. These two Maybelline quads are gonna go. Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells. This is a classic. I think this is a great palette. Although it is all shimmers, and I know I've talked a lot of shit about all shimmer palettes, this one actually works for some reason. I love it, and I really like using this as highlight, so I'm gonna keep it. This is their Naked Truth palette. I don't know that I've ever used this on my channel. I just love Wet n Wild eyeshadows. It's very hard for me to let go of them. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Yes, I knew I had this somewhere. I don't know how I forgot to put it in this declutter. This is their Comfort Zone palette. It's one of their classic cult favorite palettes. I'm pretty sure they have repackaged this. It's not as big anymore. I've never used this just on its own unless I'm using a single shade or 2 shades from this. I usually mix it in with some matte eyeshadows from a different brand. This one has always been super popular because it almost dupes MAC eyeshadow in the shade Club. This one I'd say is more pigmented than the MAC one. I'm gonna keep this. I love this eyeshadow palette. Rosé in the Air. This is supposed to be kind of like a Anastasia Modern Renaissance dupe. Pretty similar, right? You guys probably already know this if you're into makeup. I'm pretty sure everyone and their mom has done side-by-sides of these 2 eyeshadow palettes. I absolutely love Rosé in the Air. For the price, it is amazing. I'm gonna keep it. We've got some little NYX palettes. This here is a 10 color eyeshadow palette, the Runway collection. They're pretty if you use them in like the center of your lid. I just do not see myself ever using this again, so I'm gonna pass this on to my sister-in-law if she wants it. This is their Lid Lingerie eyeshadow palette, not to be confused with their Lip Lingerie, which are their liquid lipsticks. Great shades, not very comfortable. Same goes for this eyeshadow palette. Beautiful shades, they apply like crap and are very hard to blend into one another, so for that reason, I'm gonna throw this out. This is their Cosmic Metals. They're very pretty. I might pass these ones on to my sister-in-law and see if she wants them. Moving on to Essence, this is their All About Sunrise palette. These are all shimmers. They're old and I don't see myself reaching for them. There's a limit to the amount of all shimmer palettes I can own, so see you later. All About Nude eyeshadow. I was let down by this. Pigmentation sucks, very hard to blend. Just all around not a very good palette, so for that reason I'm gonna throw it out. This one is a more recent purchase. It's the Essence Beautiful eyeshadow palette. They've started coming out with these really funky palettes. I found this at Superstore. It actually performs pretty well. I really like this one. Moving on to CoverGirl. I purchased these 2 more recently. When CoverGirl went cruelty free, I kind of went ham. This Roses eyeshadow palette sucks in my opinion. Blend out into nothingness. When you blend them into one another, it just makes a huge mess. It blends into one shade. You can't really see the distinction between each shade. All in all, you can't get a good look out of this palette. I'm gonna keep this because I do want to do a CoverGirl video, so I kind of need it to show it to you, show you how terribly it applies, but this is not something I'd recommend. Peach Punch. This is scented. It smells like peaches. This eyeshadow palette is great. This Sonia Kashuk palette is gonna go. I don't even think she makes makeup anymore, which is disappointing because I actually liked her products. This eyeshadow palette, however, was very difficult to work with. It just didn't transfer on the eyes very nicely, and blending it was a challenge. So I'm gonna toss it. I've got a couple e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes. This one I've used in videos before. I really like it. Some of the eyeshadows aren't as good as others. I don't regret purchasing it. I just have to work a little harder to get some of the shades to work. So I'm gonna keep this one. Need It Nude eyeshadow palette. I actually got this as a gift with purchase with my last e.l.f. order. Looks pretty good. I haven't tried it on myself. I've only swatched a couple shades, so I am gonna keep this for now, but I have a feeling that I'll probably pass this on to my sister-in-law because I already have eyeshadow palettes that look similar to this. Next up are these 2 La Palette Nudes 1 and 2 by L'Oreal. I got these years ago. I was so excited about them. I think we all were. Drugstore makeup is exciting. I think I tried to convince myself that I liked these because they were drugstore, but I'll be honest, this one especially, terrible. Does not blend out. A hot ass mess when you try to blend the shades into one another, so I'm gonna toss this one. This is the La Palette Nude 2. This one was a little bit better, but I just have not reached for it 4 years, so I'm just gonna toss it. I didn't know if I should toss these into my single eyeshadow declutter. I think I'm just gonna keep them in this video because they are quads, even though they're technically not in a palette because they're Super Shock shadows. Where the night is and where the light is. I think I might just keep these for now. I think I'm gonna save these for my single shadow declutter video. That way this video won't drag on and on and on. Alrighty, moment of truth. I decided I'm gonna throw these in the let go of pile as well because I'm being rational. I'm not gonna use them. There's no point of holding on to things that I'm not gonna use. So, in conclusion, how did I do? Well, I started out with 71 palettes. I kept 40 and I got rid of 31, which is about 44%. Not bad. I was really hoping to do better. I thought I would get rid of over half but I'm happy with my progress. I'm sure eventually when I'm organizing everything in my makeup dresser, I'm gonna run out of room and I'm gonna have to make some tough decisions. But for now, I hope that you guys enjoyed this declutter. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know which declutter you'd like to see next. I'd love to get all of my declutters out of the way in the first few months of the new year. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and staying subscribed, and I'll see you in my next one. Okay, love you, bye.